Hey, welcome to the Mostly Skateboarding podcast. I'm your host, Templeton Elliott, and I'm joined this week by Mike Munzenrider and Jason from Frozen and Carbonite to remember Marc Johnson. We didn't know Marc Johnson, but his passing seemed to hit hard. He was of our generation. We watched him throughout his whole career, and now he's gone. Jason, when you read the news of his passing, what was your first thought?
Yeah, first my friend Lucas, friend of the pod, friend in real life, texted me the Instagram post that I think Louis Barletta made, and I was reading it. I was like, why did he send me this? And I was like, kept reading it. And I got down to the end, and it was like, Marc Johnson has just passed away. And it was, I don't know how else to put it, just like shock, because you don't think about someone in our little world, dying. So for me, the only thing I can compare it to was like, when I heard that Kobe passed away, I remember exactly where I was, like on what road I was driving, like how I heard it. Kurt Cobain, same shit. I was driving home from skating. I remember exactly where I was. For me, this is someone, and for a lot of people, this is probably like a Prince or Michael Jackson kind of thing. Because, I mean, people have, like I talked about last time I was on, like the number of people in our little thing that have passed away is a lot more than you would think. But this one seemed to resonate like a little more because, like a lot of people, I was watching, all those video parts and some interviews that came up on YouTube, and like literally all the comments, like you could scroll down as far as you possibly could, and it would just still be comments about, MJ. So this was, it was a lot, man. Like we were the same age. We were both born in 1977. We were both World Industries kids. But he was, as far as I could tell, he was the only kid that ever really did it from the East Coast and went to California and got on World. Eventually, it took him a little while. But he did it.
He did it. Mike, how did it hit you?
I mean, I think it's always confusing when this sort of thing happens. It's just kind of a basic reaction. It came on the heels of the story that Connor Doherty put out that you guys discussed on the podcast last week, that was mulling mortality and skateboarding. And, so from the point of view of the person who's still here, it's like, damn, okay. He wasn't that old, 49. How old am I? It just makes it makes you think, and yeah, it is jarring. How did you react, Templeton?
Yeah, I was surprised. I got a DM. It was like, damn, Marc Johnson, wow, or something. And I'm like, what? And then I went to Thrasher immediately because I feel like, that's the first place to look for big news, and read the post. And yeah, it's so sad. And I feel like there was kind of like a hope that we might see more from Marc Johnson. I think a lot of us were kind of like, there's maybe a little more left in the tank, like a couple more tricks we'll get to see, like everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of people were like, oh, I was hoping for a comeback part. And I wasn't quite that hopeful, but had hoped to see more from him. Not that he owed us anything. I mean, he gave more than almost anybody to skateboarding. But yeah, it was just shocking. And I think I always, whenever I hear of somebody passing, I want to know how and why. And that's almost always left unsaid, which, kind of just makes you fill in the blanks with your own ideas that may or may not be correct. Did you guys think about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of natural. Like you kind of have to. Your mind does go to that realm. I mean, like when you're almost 50, or when you get to be around 50, like you kind of have to fight to live. Like you have to do certain things to take care of yourself, like eat different, like go to the doctor, get a colonoscopy, all the stupid things like in that realm. Because I don't know, once you start getting up there, like between 50 and 60. You can drop dead. Like dudes drop dead all the time. So you kind of have to do different things to have some kind of quality of life. I don't know where I'm going with this. But,
well, I think it's a valid point that, we kind of have to take better care of ourselves now.
I think part of the confusion why it seems, so out of nowhere is that he'd been out of the limelight, out of the spotlight in skateboarding for let's say a decade. Give or take.
Yeah, well, Business and Company was around like when did they?
Till 2019-ish, but
Yeah,
I don't
around
know.
then.
I guess that's kind of my
yeah.
perception. Like, yeah, how did you guys perceive it?
Perceive what, like him being out of the spotlight, or
yeah, just how in it or out of it was he?
yeah, I mean, I thought he was just like living in that house in the mountains, just doing whatever, you know. That's kind of the way maybe skating that stuff in his driveway, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just looked up on Skatefolio, and his last recorded appearance is 2021 in Adidas Reverb video, which he had like 1 or 2 tricks. So yeah, that's like 5 years ago, and I feel like that was enough of an appearance to make you kind of feel like, oh, MJ's still there, still got it, you know, for someone of that age. So yeah, it's surprising
and harder to talk about than I anticipated, for what it's worth. I think my kind of lasting impression is that he was one of the most influential skaters from, let's see, Modus Operandi, the Trans World video, through his part in Pretty Sweet. He was influential, and then also one of the most skilled guys who never got dogged on for being insanely good. Because, you know, Shane O'Neill's a robot. Who else? P-Rod's boring for just being so kind of white bread isn't the right word for it, but
like milk toast.
Yeah, he's kind of cheesy. He's really good, but kind of cheesy. Like MJ, I feel like had just a broad appeal because he was kind of zany. He didn't take it serious. Of course, he also took it deadly serious, but then had that like sincerity, I think, that allowed him to appeal to people who, you know, might not be super hyped on like a backside nose grind, backside nollie 180 to fakie nose grind on a ledge, but like something about him seemed to click with people across like a wide range of skateboard viewing types.
Yeah, definitely. In pretty much every interview, you can tell he's speaking, you know, from his heart. He's not giving like canned answers. Like if he thinks something is bullshit or like fucking whack, he'd be like, yeah, dude, that's just fucking whack, you know? And yeah, the humor and like the zany antics, that's a real like Gen X thing. Like using sarcasm and irony as a defense mechanism. I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to make fun of myself before you make fun of me type shit. So yeah, a lot of people mention that in different interviews, like Jerron Wilson on like the that live thing that the 9 Club did. They mentioned that a little bit, like the antics and whatnot.
Yeah, I think he just came across as just a very genuine person, warts and all, who loved skating, you know, kind of in every aspect of it, you know, because skating can be so serious that you battle a trick for 7 hours, or just so silly that you're wearing funny hats and, you know, ollieing over your friend swinging a pipe around, you know, like it's all those things. And Marc Johnson and kind of embodied all that.
He was a serious hat wearer. There was a lot of portraits, and that dude had like a variety and range of hats that's impressive.
I was watching the 7 Steps to Heaven part earlier, either today or yesterday, getting ready for this podcast, and like he even busted out the visor beanie a little bit,
which was the style at the time.
Yes, actually,
I thought the visors were coming back for a second, but
they tried to do it. They tried to bring back the visor beanie.
One of the homies on Twitter was talking about visor beanies within the last year and a half or so, but he wasn't calling them visor beanies. One of the style guys. Damn it. Now I can't remember what he was.
Oh, one of those like men's fashion accounts or whatever.
Yeah. It was like brimmed stocking cap or something super clunky. Okay. Yeah. 7 Steps to Heaven, though. That was my first real exposure to the guy. I think, Jason, you had a good point written up.
Yeah, see, I really didn't see that part when it came out because I was in New York at the time. Like that wasn't the kind of video they showed like at Supreme, like on like the 9 televisions that they had in the window.
So they never heard of Maple in
Maple. What the fuck? Yeah. No, but I only saw that later in like the YouTube era. But damn it, he did every fucking trick in that goddamn part. Like, and it's kind of, when you watch it, it wouldn't be so impactful with any different song. Like even on YouTube, when you go to the video, there's a fucking video for that song, believe it or not, from 1968 or whatever. The top comment is like, "Yeah, I'm here because of MJ." Blah blah blah. It's pretty tight. But
what's the song? Remind me.
It's I think it's called "Some Velvet Morning" by Lee Hazelwood featuring Nancy Sinatra. So yeah, when with that song, it seems to exist like out of time, kind of like when it starts. There's like the dark clouds in the background. He's all pretty much only wearing like the white T-shirt with the khakis, kind of like a timeless outfit. And yeah, that part's a classic. Like you could, that was the era where like if you were good, you had to do every ledge trick and B every flat ground trick. And he kind of threw. Yeah, he did it, man. He kind of threw everything at the wall there.
360 flip lip slide. I want to say fakie on one of those like playground flat bars. That's a balance beam.
Yeah,
right.
There's a bunch of stuff in there. Maybe a back nose grind nollie heel.
How lucky were those California kids to have a perfect flat bar ready to skate at their school? No such luck on the East Coast. I think my first like real exposure to Marc Johnson was his profile in 41120.
Oh, with the Stereolab song?
With the Stereolab song, yeah. Yep. And I remember
Promise Ring. There's two versions.
The Promise Ring is
can't remember
best of 411.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Because I remember going into the skate shop and Brian Dale was working the skate shop. He was another kind of hometown hero. And he was just like commented on how sick the song was. And I was like, okay, Stereolab is cool. Like, you know, that was like forming my taste at the time. But yeah, Marc Johnson from my hometown. I never ran into him or anything, but that always kind of gave me a little extra incentive to like him and pay attention to his skating.
Winston-Salem,
North Carolina.
Yeah, fucking Stereolab. I think around that time, or like the next year, my friend gave me a tape of some Stereolab record. I forgot which one. Like I ran that shit so hard that summer. That's probably what kind of got me like out of just listening to hardcore, listening to other stuff like Tortoise and Spiritualized and whatnot. So yeah, you never know. Like just, you know, with the music, with the tricks, the guy was pretty influential.
Yeah, a man of taste, you know, like across the board on his board and like with the way he dressed and his music selection. Although you could say that he pushed the boundaries of taste with some of his tricks.
What are you talking about specifically with that one? I'm curious.
Like, you know, he skates kind of like in some videos like fully flared, like super tech, you know, doing like back foot flips. Did you do like backside 180 back foot flip like over like hips and stuff?
Yeah.
You know, stuff that like for me, if somebody else did him, I'd be like that's kind of whack. But he got away with it, you know, always skating fast, always landing good. You know, he made it look good to where like I didn't really notice that those were, you know, not cool tricks.
Yeah, and Pretty Sweet, right? He does it over that like sidewalk gap or some gap. I don't know, but
yeah, bump to sidewalk, and he has a couple. He has
some shit like that.
Late shove it, big spins both ways, and Pretty Sweet as well.
Yeah, he made that shit look good, dude. Like to me, that was just him, just kind of being artistic, like taking some really esoteric early '90s shit and kind of resurrecting it. You know, I think like as far as that Pretty Sweet part goes, I mean, you could make an argument that that's his best part. Like he does so much shit in there, like frontside, blindside, 360 flip out, which is like a dream trick. A whole bunch of and it's so like every trick or line is like his own little like art installation. Like it's so curated. So
yeah, it's the man in full. It's like the fully formed artist or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part of his. All said, though, of course, like Modus Operandi, I watched that part and got into Built to Spill and was like, we had my high school graduation did an all-nighter at Camp Snoopy is what it was called at the Mall of America, is the theme park there. I remember getting home at like 8 a.m. like 8 a.m. and feeling all wistful and shit because I just graduated high school, and I listened to that song, The Plan by Built to Spill, like sitting outside my house on the stoop.
Yeah, never gotten to Built to Spill, but they're still out there doing it. Sure, a lot of people come to their shows like waiting to hear that song, like more than you'd think probably.
Right, or the Cairo Foster song from The Reason.
Yeah, there you go.
Which I feel like I've heard him say that people, whenever he always knows when Built to Spill is on tour because people are like tagging him in that song on Instagram and stuff. Yeah, I think the Modus part is my favorite. Just like I don't know, maybe like the way that he's dressed, and I think it's like the perfect level of tech and like it's just all kind of tasteful. And he's skating Atlanta, which is a place that I would skate sometimes, so some familiar spots and stuff.
The part got him on chocolate eventually.
It's a good part.
So when Mark Johnson first came out, definitely saw him a lot in Trans World. I was like, but I was so like Menace World Industries, like I couldn't really, fuck with it. I was just like, this dude's good, but like, he's got like the white shirts and like the tight pants. Like, no, I know sliding handrails. Like, what is this? But that was just my like perspective at the time. But when he got on A Team, it was like, oh, this guy's really like upper echelon type shit. And then Modus was, with that spoken word intro, like, come on, dude, that's like legendary. That was the point at which I was like, oh, this guy is like a wizard. And he started running white button downs. He might have been the originator of the white button down. I don't know.
I was gonna say, no wonder Templeton loved him so much. He got that, that clean.
Yeah, I wonder if
loves the fits.
If did he influence my style, or did I like him because he was on my same tip with the way that I dress? Because I went to Catholic school, so there was we had a dress code, which I think I never could quite shake. But yeah, the clothes, like he had a long running line on Maddox. The cords are kind of iconic. The sweaters.
Yep, got the sweater.
Never had the sweater, but I ran the cords, and I'm pretty sure he had a signature corduroy / shearling coat that I got a couple of that were pretty sick. I ran those hard. Nice brown corduroy coat.
Wait, not like a jean jacket, like a corduroy jean jacket kind of with like the shearling lining?
Yep. Trying to think kind of what style it was, but jean jacket is a good analogy.
Jean jacket, damn, that's pretty
kind
dope.
Of a floppy collar.
Man, we got to get back to like clothing companies, like skate clothing companies making dope shit like that again.
Yeah, we need more cut and sew, like dope shit. I feel like we're kind of headed in that direction. Dylan Jabe is kind of bringing button ups back.
Yeah, Quasi does some shit like from season to season. They'll have like a sweater or like a kind of button up that's kind of different, but
yeah.
Death Wish has actually like some insane clothing that I've seen that my homie at the shop doesn't seem to order, but he'll like get the hookup every now and then. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah.
Who'd have thought Death Wish?
Ellington, baby.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think he's just rebranding the Marlboro gear. But
I mean, it's part of that.
That would be a good idea. There's certainly the market's out there for the more adventure gear.
Stuff looks pretty hard.
But what else did he run? I mean, in Man Down, of course, which is like, Quarter Stacks wrote about it very eloquently, but like that's a lot of people's favorite Mark Johnson part. I feel like he ran like the Hawaiian shirt with the campuses.
Yeah, he's got some insane fits in there, and yeah, he always looked good in Adidas. We didn't get much official Adidas footage, but
yeah. By the way, Adidas. If someone from Adidas is listening to this, you got to bring back the campus like the way they were in the '90s, not like the new chunky ones or whatever, or the new skate line ones with the different sole. Just like the original sole, like kind of a thin tongue. Just what I mean.
Scott, are you taking notes?
I ran so many pairs of those, like because they look so dope with like the shredded laces. You know what I mean? Like Richard Angelitas in that one part.
Genesis.
I think it was Genesis. Yeah, those are dope, man. Those things look good. Ran so many pairs of those, like black and green, whatever.
One of my favorite MJ clips. It's that line: 2-stair manual pad, switch nose wheelie, fakey big spin to manual. Lands that and does a frontside flip, switch manual. Just elite. Making shit look like making manual tricks look cool. Not a lot of people can do that. He might have campuses on in that clip.
Some kind of
may or may not be
kind of brown
correctly. But we were kind of talking about it pre-tape, and Snackman focused on it, writing about the Man Down part on Quarter Snacks. The randomness of the spots that he'd skate, like a lot of strip mall, not even double sets, but like 4-stair to flat, like with an extended sidewalk. Do a heel flip down that, or just skating like the back of warehouses with a bump to a desk, kick flip front lip. I might have stolen that one from him. Like he skated some pretty random spots, like skate rat style.
Yeah, it was all that like San Jose, like Silicon Valley, like industrial park shit.
Right? Yeah, and he made it look like a place you want to go.
A lot. It's funny you say that because I think I've driven through or to around every fucking industrial park here in Richmond, Virginia, and I haven't found shit. I haven't found one ledge or bank or nothing.
I mean, it's kind of the skater's dream of just like, all right, I'm going down this road, it dead ends, or it maybe splits into two warehouse complexes. I'm gonna find like the ill bank setup. It's gonna be actually smooth asphalt.
Yeah, or some loading dock ledge or something. I mean, it probably is some shit somewhere, and I was kind of exaggerating. I haven't been to literally every like industrial park in Central Virginia, but still haven't found shit. But that's cool that they had good spots like that in San Jose.
I think there's just so many. Like you think you got a lot in around Richmond. There's 10 times as many in San Jose, probably.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man down.
That's the secret of San Jose.
Yeah, man down. Like, I mean, it's kind of like Templeton said at the beginning. Like, the reason why people like that part or relate to it is because it's kind of like fuck around like footage, but it's still like super tech, like as tech as you can imagine. And they could do like silly, like, mess around footage, or he could be like super serious artist, like fully flared, like Ty Evans, super dramatic. Either way,
yeah, he really contained multitudes. There was that like fuck around, let me do a big spin in the middle of this manual, or skating some weird setups in a funny hat, and then like the 7-hour battles for a switch nose blunt to back nose blunt or something. And I'm not going to repeat myself, but I already said all this shit. Do we want to talk about shoes? He had some good ones.
I love that. I loved that fake Adidas with like a stripe and then a slightly fatter stripe. And I think they got shut down. Adidas made them stop doing that shoe, but that was like a cup sole, maybe a second shoe. Should have looked it up. Yeah, definitely ran those. There was the high version that was extra stick. It was like a Stan Smith knockoff. Great shoes.
I mean, when the first America shoe came out with the M on the side, that was like inescapable. That fucking shoe was everywhere.
I ran so many of those. Great shoe, always good colors. I mean, it was so good that they brought it back without his name on it, which is a little kind of lame, I guess. But
what did they call it? Something weird like the 1997 or something. That's probably just some shit like that. But
I forget what they call it, but yeah, it's just like a nothing kind of name.
I mean, that shoe was so legendary that Jake Phelps wore it. I mean, you'd always see him wearing it pretty much like till the day he died.
Right. He was running them way past when they were being produced, he had some kind of...
Who knows where he got them?
Yeah.
eBay or he had them like stashed, but...
TJ Maxx
was pretty legendary. Second one, I think it was more tech, the second MJ America shoe.
It was, yeah. I ran a few of those too.
On Lakai was very, very sick.
Oh, were those the like slim down Volk ones or something?
Yeah, it was actually, I think the Howard Select was actually the better of the two, but the MJ was kind of, what shoe was that like? Yeah, it was a very, very flat vulcanized shoe. And I know that most Volk shoes are flat by nature, but this one seemed especially so. MJ2 was the Adidas-esque Stan Smith.
Yeah, just one more example of MJ being a man of such great taste and creativity. Just all his shoes are great. No misses, as far as I can tell. And then, I mean, the music. I feel like he introduced a whole world to Joy Division and many other bands. Stereolab for me.
Lee Hazelwood, yeah.
I mean, that Stone song in Man Down is pretty nuts. Miss You. Didn't you Jason, you posted about like a podcast or something discussing Miss You, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oddly enough, there's this podcast called Pod of Thunder. Like originally started out as a podcast about Kiss, where they went through literally every song in the Kiss catalog and discussed it like in a 40-minute podcast format. But then once they did that, they kind of moved on to discussing random songs. And it just so happens that this week, the song they discussed was Miss You, which is a crazy fucking coincidence.
That is a wild coincidence.
What did you guys think of the fully flared part when it came out versus now.
It's hard to put myself back in the 2017 shoes, or was it 2017? It was longer ago than
2007, fully flared.
2007. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like fully flared represents the pinnacle of tech skating, and then everything else has been kind of a come down off of that. And I feel like Marc Johnson did it in a way that looked actually pretty good. I felt like the Guy Mariano stuff was too much, but MJ was like, he thread the needle on that and came out looking pretty darn good, I thought.
Do you mean Guy's part in fully flared or pretty sweet?
Maybe I'm thinking pretty sweet. The one with the nose blunt varial heel in the like.
Oh, I think that was fully
alleyway.
Flared. Yeah, that type of shit. I see where you're coming from there. But I think when it came out, like I was like, dude, I'm not watching a fucking 13-minute part more than once. I don't think I went back to it that often. But now I'm like, oh, I think it's aged well. You know, I think if you go back, you don't have to watch the whole thing. You just watch like the end part with the She Wants Revenge song, or the middle part with the Fisher Spooner song, or even the beginning part with the song from Silence of the Lambs. So I think it's aged well, but you don't have to watch the whole thing in one shot.
I recently got a copy of Fully Flared on DVD from our legal correspondent, and I have yet to watch it because I have a DVD player, but I don't think I have a power cord for it. I lost my original copy of Fully Flared because my upstairs neighbor at this fourplex borrowed it from me, and he was so annoying that when I moved, I didn't want to talk to him. So I really haven't probably watched Fully Flared that much since like 2009 or so, and I feel like that part seems just really extra in my mind. It was maybe Ty Evans at his most melodramatic, and
yeah, that's the word I was looking for, melodramatic.
Yeah, whereas earlier in Fully Flared, you've got that. Is it? It's the Big Timer song. Is it a Big Timer song?
Yeah,
like that shit's so fun to watch.
That part is aged. That part is aged super well too. That's the whole section with JBGA and everyone.
Yeah, so he kind of like got outshined in that video, and I think that's probably why that Pretty Sweet part is so good, because it's 4 minutes. That Bowie song is fantastic, and the skating's impeccable in, I don't know, just kind of like the refined, but like this is the condensed part. This is super concise. This is, I don't know, all the crazy ass body contortions and everything. That opening kickflip 5-0 is so good and Pretty Sweet.
Yeah, no tail touch or nothing. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, you can make an argument that that's his best part, but I mean, his body of work is so extensive that
it's worth remarking that his like footage output, even though he didn't put out much, again, I'll contend in the past 10 years, like he put out an insane amount of footage. And I think in the discussions, someone remarked that like he'd feel bad about having so much more than other people on various teams or whatever.
Yeah, I think that just speaks to the fact that he really loved skateboarding and he wanted to do his best. And I think that there was a little bit of like a tortured artist thing. And like, I think a lot of pro skaters have a thing where they're always worried about, the new young kids coming up behind them and, trying to take their lunch. So there might have been a little bit of that, demon on his shoulder about, you better put out a 13-minute part to solidify your career for the next few years. But yeah, a total workhorse.
Yeah, I think I was looking at maybe Skate Video Site. Shout out those guys. But he's had a lot of like 20 parts, I'm thinking, somewhere around there. Is that insane?
It sounds about right, because, you start counting like your America Yellow video and...
oh, yeah, forgot about that.
I mean, Transworld, Uno had a part in there. Skated to presidents of the United States. The Hot Chocolate Tour.
Hot Chocolate Tour. Right. Even like Etney's High Five. Like what? Who? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got so many parts. He's got more forgotten parts than most dudes have parts.
Yeah, the Skate Clips guy on Twitter, had, gosh, I forget what the name of the Maple video was now, but it's an even older, early mid-90s Maple.
Yeah.
Right, he's got a part in there. One thing that strikes me is that he was always so good. And I think it's kind of that, grows out of that time where he just had nothing else to do but skate. And I think it was, remarked upon in various eulogies for him that like he had a tough upbringing. And so I think that just underscores like, get the hell out of your house and go skate. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, along those lines, I was watching, I guess, the Back 40, whatever that is, like now posted his like old sponsor me tape in North Carolina, and at that point, he was like, you could tell he was like the best dude in town. You know what I mean? He skated like he was the best skater in town. Could do like flip outs and stuff. But that was like '93, and like 3 years later, he was like doing everything. That was like 7 steps. So like he was so fucking talented. Even the forward profile, it's like make that leap within 3 years, which seemed like
he's 19.
Yeah,
so young.
Yeah, that's probably 1995 or thereabouts.
97, I want to say, for the profiles.
Yeah, 97.
Yeah, 1920.
It's pre-VX. Another one. This is. I got to track it down hopefully for the show notes. But he was in one of those Thrasher videos, like Thrasher 911, let's say, of that era, just random late 90s. One of those Thrasher VHSs with 3 minutes of pool footage, guys slashing. And then you get Mark Johnson doing a trick tip for, bear with me, backside nollie flip to fakie nose grind the hard way on like a foot high red curb. So right at it frontside, do your classic kind of folded MJ backside nollie flip, and then land in like switch backside 5-0 effectively and pop out in the middle. And that was his trick tip. He explained how to do it, right at a moderate speed, backside nollie flip and a fakie nose grind, right away clean. It was tight. But like, he's probably one of like 5 people that ever even did that trick.
Yeah, that's like a 4-on-1. They'd have a trick tip for a trick that only Costin could do, maybe like one other person in the whole world.
That's probably a bit for.
It seems like a bit.
I remember Maldonado had the fine tuning. That was the name of the 411 section, but it was like nollie flip down a 3-stair, and he's like, yeah, right at the lip as fast as you can, grab mute, spin 1080, right away clean.
Funny bit.
You can't get away with that on YouTube.
No, man, you gotta be sincere.
Thumbs down you.
Little Johnny's gonna tell his mom.
Do that trick.
More of that Generation X sarcasm.
Yeah.
You guys ever see him skate in person, Mark Johnson? Did you ever film him?
No. I always hoped that I would, could get to run into him and be like, hey, we're both from Winston-Salem. But never had that chance. Did you see MJ skate, Mike?
I thought I hadn't, and then I remembered that it was a hot chocolate tour stop at Third Layer. He has some, I mean, it's in that video, like bumped a picnic table and stuff. And I mean, gosh, that was 22 years ago now. So I don't have the most vivid memory of it. He was good. All those dudes were good. They were taking the demos pretty seriously. Had a chance to see him at Skate South, the roller rink in Des Moines that they dragged the ramps out on Saturday night. There was like kind of a Lakai Crail Tap demo that ended up being, I think, Rick Howard, Mike Carroll, Mike Moe, and maybe Alex Olson. And MJ was supposed to be there, but they would not allow him on his flight due to intoxication, is what we found out.
I mean, he was someone who battled demons. There's a lot of stories about him, causing a ruckus while intoxicated. And I feel like that he skated so well despite of it. He did end up getting sober at some point. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it is a part of his story,
No, he was really like upfront about it. Like, there's a ton of interviews where he's like talking about drinking, like making fully flared, that kind of thing, and then I think he talked about, getting sober, that kind of thing. And that was pretty dope, man. A lot of, you don't get that kind of candor from hardly any pros or pro athletes, period.
Yeah, I mean, again, his kind of vulnerability and openness.
Yeah, that whole thing.
I mean, even the voiceover in Modus Operandi could be taken as cheesy, like, oh, you just think it and you can make it real. But I don't know, there's the sincerity that really comes through. I mean, at the time, it was pretty novel to like talk about skating that way. And I think it struck a chord, obviously, with so many people. because it still comes up, and there's also, the quarterback or whoever who could kickflip, and that, I think it just
Cliff
hit
Kaufman.
because the dude was, just being real, being sincere about it.
And he had the moves to back it up. Like you could just imagine Mark Johnson thinking up something and going out and doing it.
And
like because he was doing things that were, didn't exist before he did them.
When he says, think about it and then do it, he sounds genuinely excited.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, he was a real, he was literally intellectual about skateboarding. Like, what does an intellectual do? They think about it a lot. Think about stuff. So, you could tell he spent a lot of time watching old world vids, just thinking about skating. And like when he was able to kind of actualize it, he came up with some pretty good shit.
Isn't the fully flared part is kind of packed with allusion and homage to, various skaters over the years.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. There's like a Henry Sanchez one.
Fakey 5-0 half cab no slide.
He does well, maybe, but the one I remember is he does just like a 5-0 to backside 180 nose grind.
Oh yeah, maybe I was thinking of the Henry trick when I'm trying to picture Fakey 5-0 nose slide.
Yeah, he also did the front board to nose blunt, which was a homage to Danny Way and questionable, I think he said.
Yeah.
Questionable at that like basketball court sunken conversation pit spot.
Yeah, where people would literally like film lines just going around in a circle.
Yeah.
Like they hit the same ledge twice in the same line.
What's so funny about that fully flared end or the switch nose blunt to backside nose blunt? Like Daewon did that both ways in round 2, I want to say.
One of those videos, one of those Deca videos.
But it was like Daewon just like straight, in the middle of 50 clips on the same 2 bench setup, and you're like, whoa, I missed it. I have no idea what's going on. Daewon, you crazy. Daewon on chocolate is the rumor. Actually on chocolate, I heard at the shop.
We've been hearing it for months, it seems.
It's been teasing, and from the sounds of it, it's going to happen.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope.
Been a long time coming.
Yeah, you could say it's a little late, but it's still tight.
I feel like I remember when Brian Anderson got on Girl, it was like either Brian Anderson or Daewon was going to get on. Like those were the 2 that were like kind of in their sights or something.
It's so dope because those are 2 very different skaters. Budget only allowed for one, Daewon or BA.
I could be remembering that totally wrong, but that's just kind of how I remember it, and it feels true.
It sucks how hard Crail Tap fell apart due to, as far as, interviews and then just hearing stories goes, the Pat Riley disease of more.
Oh, please elaborate. I'm a big sports fan, but even I am not familiar with the
Pat Riley disease of more is where like you have a potential dynastic basketball team. Pat Riley, general manager of the Miami Heat, legendary Los Angeles Lakers coach, and then coached the Heat as well. He coached the Knicks too at some point. Yeah, he moved from the Knicks to Miami. The disease of more is, okay, you've got a great team, and you win a championship, but then the players want more playing time, more money, more exposure, more props, more whatever. And that kind of seems to have been the undoing of that, like, pretty sweet era of Girl and chocolate, because, I just heard stories where dudes would realize, hey, I'm not making as much per month from Crail Tap anymore, and I could go start my own brand and pay myself $4,000 a month instead of $3,500, and I get to make all the calls and blah blah blah. And then I know I used to love all the team transaction stuff, reading mandatory information and all that. I've just never been like all that interested in what Mike Carroll did or any of that, because there's something gauche about these grown men just wanting more, disagreeing over it. I guess my whole point is that it's a bummer that all that shit fell apart and we didn't get, I feel like because of it, we didn't get as much Mark Johnson as we could have had. And that's strictly, that sounds pretty kind of insensitive, but we want to see these guys skate, and we have been talking about the guy for 40, 50 minutes now. And yeah, he's one of the best skaters ever.
Yeah,
Yes.
along those lines, I think I saw somewhere, there's allegedly like a lost part or something.
That's what they're saying. It was supposed to be kind of like a friend's part in Bag of Suck. And I read today in Chromeball that Ty Evans put the kibosh on it. He had cleared it with Carroll and Rick Howard, and they were all fine with it. And then Ty Evans supposedly said no.
It would have been a year before Fully Flared came out. And he's like...
Yeah, pretty wild to, yeah. I mean, I think Ty had a lot of control and say in the video realm, which he earned for sure. But sad that we never got to see it. Hopefully it's out there and it comes to light soon.
The drive is not corrupted.
Oh God, dude. Can you imagine?
I mean, I feel like we've talked about it a million times on here, but the post, 2 years post video days, blind video footage that was stolen or whatever.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
I've only ever heard.
We talked about that with Jacob Rosenberg himself when he was on. Like, what did he say? I think he said that like there really isn't one. Like there isn't like Rocco doesn't have a vault with like the blind video. Like I think most of that footage they used in the friend section in virtual reality. But
right, yeah, I would love the minute count on the MJ lifetime output. Because even as I lament, not seeing more of him, and we're talking about a secret part, the Jesus hidden tape. Could someone help me?
Secret tape.
Secret tape. Yeah, man, super good at talking here on the podcast. We're even talking about the secret tape, MJ, and yet, I mean, the guy just had so much footage. So sick.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's got the most footage of anyone.
Released footage, he's got to be up there. But like non-bullshit footage too, because maybe it was on the skate video site app. They had some cool graphs, and like maybe like Birdman has the most video out.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to misremember.
Maybe. I'm gonna pull up the skate video site app right now. It's on my phone.
We're all scrolling to the skate video site.
Does it do that? Does it give you like the total? Does it do the computation?
Okay, yeah. Top 15 skaters by video count.
Marc Johnson's in 77 videos, whereas Tony Hawk is in 133. Costin's in 121. But like, what's Birdman doing? Is he doing another McTwist?
Yeah, I think Marc Johnson probably has the most minutes of footage. Non-bullshit.
77 is not bad.
It's pretty impressive.
77. What? Yeah, that seems crazy. But I think if you count like 4-in-1s, what else is there? 4-in-1s, like actual according to all the video parts.
He's probably in some Logics,
digital.
Yeah, the 3Ds, like you were saying.
Progression, Video Magazine, EST. I don't think he was in EST.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I'm thinking Marc Johnson at BAM. What could he have done?
Oh yeah, damn dude, that would have been dope.
I think I'd be stoked if that existed. Do we have anything else for MJ?
Yeah, I mean it's a sad loss, and yeah, I think I thought about it pretty hard for a couple days, and there's been some distance, and it's been actually kind of cathartic to talk.
Yeah, this is good. I like doing this podcast because it's tough, man. Because he was definitely one of us,
Yeah. Well, I'm stoked that we got so much from Marc Johnson after over all these years. He gave us a lot, so super grateful, super stoked, and let's change the mood and talk about what we're stoked on. Jason, what are you stoked on this week?
Of course, stoked on Venture Trucks out of San Francisco, California. NBA Finals started this week. I don't really have a dog in the fight, but just stoked for some good competition there. I do think if the Knicks win, I would be pretty stoked. But like I said, don't have a dog in the fight. Stoked on the 9 Club does this feature on their live show where they do like a retail roundup. They interview some people from a shop, and Venue Skateboards right here, Richmond, Virginia was on there. That was pretty dope. Stoked on the recent Andrew down in Miami skate shop and Spitfire vid. And not only am I the video game liaison on this podcast, I'm also the prestige television liaison. So along those lines, stoked on the recent document on Hulu called Breaking on the One about break-in, and specifically a battle between Rocksteady Crew and the Dynamic Rockers in 1981. So if you're into that type of culture shit, definitely check it out. Mike, what are you stoked on this week?
I am stoked on Uniqlo boxers, which appeared in my life in a time of need. J. Crew boxers had a good run. They're all falling apart now. I needed a new brand. I found it, $7.50 a pop. Great. Also stoked on seeing my 5th Bell and Sebastian show with Templeton last weekend in Chicago. That was a super good time. I think he's been to a dozen shows. He might floss that later. Yeah. Also stoked on the new Foundation video, which I thought was really great. Today, Tomorrow, Forever. Good vibes, cool skating. Feels like a Foundation video in kind of a hard to pin down way. That was super cool. Also stoked on last week's podcast with Connor Doherty. That was a good chat. Templeton and Patrick.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you guys covered a lot of related topics, and I was really feeling just the talk of like not optimizing everything. That was good. Also stoked on the NBA Finals wrapping up here. I realized once they tipped off that I want to see former Timberwolf and reputedly all-around good dude Karl Anthony Towns win a ring. So go Knicks. Templeton, what are you stoked on this week?
I am stoked on Adjacent. It's the skate conference. We'll call it Slow Impact in the Northwest. It's coming around again to Portland. Your boy is going to be on a panel, so come through. We'll have more information about that in the show notes, obviously, and in an upcoming show. Also stoked on hanging with Mike in Chicago and seeing my 11th and 12th Bell and Sebastian shows. Also,
it was a 2-night affair.
It was a 2-night affair, yes. So good. And finally, stoked on Dan McGee and Neil McDonald talking about UK skate videos on episode number 22 of the Cine Club podcast. If you know me, I'm a huge UK skate fan, huge Dan McGee fan. Just inject that shit into my veins. It was great. That's it for our show this week. Be sure to check out mostlyskateboarding.net for links to things that we talked about and other show notes. Until next time, you can keep up with us all week online. Mike, where can the people find you?
I'm a Twitter and Instagram poster with a handle @Munzenrider. Jason, where can the people find you?
Still on Twitter at Carbonite1994. Barely on Instagram at Frozen and Carbonite, but maybe a little bit more so over the summer. And writing stuff for Quarter Snack Templeton. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Mostly Skateboarding, and you can find the show on YouTube at Mostly Skateboarding. See you guys next week.
Later.